Shane Murphy with SacramentoComedy.com. We're interviewing Bill Burr. He's a beast. He's a madman. Are you ready for him? So first big question, you got the big special coming up?
Yes, I do. Am I excited? Yes, I am. I'm kind of chomping at the bit to do it. I have been ready since the beginning of November. I miscalculated how long it was going to take me to get ready. I felt I was underprepared for the last one, and this one I'm overprepared.
So Bill, I heard you were the first comic on the new Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. I heard something funny happened on that show. Can you tell us more?
All right, I did the Tonight Show, and I was the first guy on it. All right, and what happened was, they had to work some bugs out. So for some reason, they told me, they said, that when they introduce you, don't just walk directly to the microphone. Give yourself a nice entrance. They said, make a nice little, like that, whatever that's called, little chandelle, right? Something like that, right? So they did. So they introduced me, so I'm like, all right, don't walk right towards us. So I start doing this long thing, and all the band plays, they play like 4 notes. They just go, da, 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 da. So they were on like the 3rd note, and I was, like, the friggin' microphone felt like it was up at the bar. Max Weinberg sitting there, got like carpal tunnel trying to keep his roll going. I was like, I think I didn't say, oh shit, I almost said that. I said something weird, and then I had to kind of run to the microphone. Then I began it, and I addressed, I was like, man, that was a long walk, and then everybody just sort of pulled back for some, I just felt the crowd. They just kind of felt like they just got off like the backdraft ride up the street at Universal. And my first punchline was, that's what you get, you dumb bitch. And I remember that ate it. And all I heard was the band laughing a little bit. And I ate my balls for a good 40 seconds, good 40 seconds. And I remember thinking in my head like, wow, I am bombing on the Tonight Show.
Now, you're kind of legendary amongst comics, at least in Sacramento, for being able to do urban rooms and kill them. And that's my question is there any specific preparing that you do when you do an urban room, or you just do your regular material?
Yeah, I rent car wash, and I watch. No, it was...
Soul Glow.
Yeah, Soul Glow, I watch that. I make sure I get buy a couple of Red Fox albums. I start talking like this when I get on stage. That's what I do. It's an entirely different thing. No, I'm not going to lie to you. I've definitely, when I've been struggling on stage in front of a black crowd, all of a sudden I start going, you know what I'm saying? After a lot of my jokes, which is completely not organic to how I speak. So if any black person in the crowd hadn't realized at that point that I was eating my balls, the second I start going, you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, he's bombing, isn't he? I thought this was some sort of white alternative comedy that he was doing.
You've been busting your ass for 15 years. A lot of people that don't follow comedy just think that you're just like an overnight success. What brought you into starting doing comedy in the first place?
How the fuck did I get into it? I talent contest. What the hell was it? Find Boston's funniest college student, and I just signed up for. It was just a big scam to get a bunch of college kids in there drinking, laughing at their friends bombing, and I went on that. But how that happened was, I was working in this warehouse, and I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was totally into stand-up, but I was so fucking detached. I was an emotional psychopath that I didn't really know what the fuck I wanted. Even though I would think about stand-up all the time, it never dawned on me well, why don't you go do it? Stupid. I had no idea, even though that I watched comedy. And when I was a kid, I did my paper route and would be doing George Carlin bits, imagining I was doing them on stage in front of my high school or middle school class. It still didn't dawn on me that, hey, maybe you want to do this, stupid. And so I was hanging out with this dude, and he was into comedy the way I was into comedy, and we started watching, we were such nerds. We'd hang out and get shit-faced in his bedroom. This fucking dude, this guy was hilarious. I really got to be careful how I present this. He had extra revenues of cash that were a little mysterious. So his fucking room looked like the penthouse in Coming to America. You know, when the dude had the hot tub and shit, and his mother had no idea. And he's like, what, Ma? I don't drink. I don't go out. That's like he was justified. So we'd be sitting there on his all leather fucking bedroom, and we would watch stand-up, would get fucking hammered. And we used to watch stand-up Spotlight, and he'd be sitting there going, look at these guys. But those guys aren't funny, we're funnier than these guys. one of these days I'm gonna take a shot at Jack and go on stage. That's what he said. And then the second he said it, it finally dawned on me. And it wasn't on TV anymore, it was sitting next to me.
So who were your comedy influences when you were watching it?
Jesus. I liked everybody. I liked everyone from, I remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old hearing Sister Mary Elephant. You remember that? Cheech and Chong. Class!
Okay.
Class, shut up! We thought it was fucking hilarious. That was in the drugged out 70s. I remember that. And then I bought a Richard Pryor album just because he looked funny. I remember I just saw it. He had that crazy look on his face, and I bought that. The same thing with Eddie Murphy. I had no idea who he was, and he had that rose in his ear, whatever one that was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's another black guy. He's probably going to be funny like this other black guy. So I got him. And then George Carlin had 9 million albums, so they were in there. I knew who Bill Cosby was, so I used to buy like comedy albums. I was a nerd, so I liked all that, and right through Sam Kinison. Jerry Seinfeld was huge. I loved him. Dennis Miller back in the day. Who else? Dice Clay, Damon Wayans, all the In Living Color guys.
So nice to hear Dice get a shout out, man. He was big. People forget.
I saw
Playing
Dice at the
stadiums.
Worcester Centrum, sold out. I mean, I was literally almost the last row, upper deck on the end zone side. And I helped boo an unknown Eddie Griffin, who was on stage. and I was the typical moron crowd member, like, Dice is going to hear this and he's going to love it. Like, never put 2 and 2 together, like, well, maybe he liked Eddie and wanted to bring him out. But Eddie just stood there and he said, fuck you, motherfuckers. And we all shut up and he just did his stuff and he killed. But yeah, we were all, bring the fucking Dice Man on, yeah! We were just idiots. So there's a part of me, whenever I get heckled, as mad as I get, I have to understand that I was actually that shithead.
Your comedy, is there any taboos for you? I mean, I can't even imagine something you'd be too scared to talk about. Is there any taboos?
Oh yeah. You know, there's definitely, I don't talk about, I don't say retard. I try not to say retard. I should say that. Unless somebody really annoys me in the crowd, and then I just ask them if they are. I've never been that guy where, like, I like to annoy people. I don't like making them cry.
We appreciate you doing the interview.
Thank you very much. It's, it started off a little rocky, but I thought it got going, How you doing? I'm Bill Burr, and you're watching SacramentoComedy.com. Congratulations, you're not watching porn.